PW to Clause 69.0 Contractor entitled to receive advance payment 20% of value contract sum and payments made on valuation. For PAM, the amount stated in interim certificate, subject to any agreement between parties, be the total work executed and percentage of value materials and goods. Meanwhile, CIDB, interim payment based on value work done.
Clause 70.0 Amendment in POW D is any provision of contract should by writing and made mutual agreement by both parties. PAM written instruction from architect under any provision and for CIDB contractor complies all order issued by public authority imposed by CIDB.
The contractor agrees to maintain the confidentiality of the information and prevent any unauthorized disclosure to third parties. It is the contractor's responsibility to ensure that any third parties involved in the project also adhere to the same strict confidentiality measures. This includes taking all necessary precautions to safeguard sensitive information and not sharing it with anyone outside of the approved individuals involved in the project. Any breach of confidentiality by the contractor or their third parties could result in legal action being taken against them. By agreeing to these terms, the contractor commits to upholding the confidentiality of the information throughout the duration of the project.
As outlined in the terms of the contract, exclusive permission is granted to the architect and quantity surveyor for the possession of project documents and communication with the employer. This arrangement ensures that crucial information is securely managed by skilled professionals, while also allowing the employer easy access to updates and reports. The expertise and collaboration of these individuals play a vital role in the successful completion of the project, underscoring the significance of entrusting them with the safekeeping of the documents throughout the construction process.
It is the responsibility of the contractor to ensure the safekeeping of all documents related to the project. The superintending officer may, in certain situations, provide written consent for the contractor to release or share specific documents, with the contractor required to follow any imposed restrictions. This measure is implemented to uphold the confidentiality and security of project information. Ultimately, the contractor must prioritize safeguarding the documents and obtain permission from the superintending officer before disclosing any sensitive details, underscoring the importance of maintaining the integrity of project documentation.
In accordance with Clause 72 of the contract, it is the contractor's sole responsibility to cover all stamp duties, legal expenses, and fees associated with the preparation and execution of this agreement. Timely fulfillment of these obligations is essential to ensure the legality and enforceability of the contract. Failure to comply may result in legal ramifications and financial penalties, underscoring the importance of the contractor meeting all necessary payments accurately and promptly. By doing so, the contractor can mitigate potential issues or disputes that may arise in the future.
In adherence to CIDB regulations, it is the employer's responsibility to cover the cost of stamp duty. This crucial financial obligation plays a vital role in ensuring the legality and validity of construction projects. By meeting this duty, employers actively contribute to the overall compliance and governance of the construction industry. The stamp duty acts as a formal acknowledgement of the transaction between parties involved in construction projects, serving as a legal safeguard for all individuals and entities. Employers must strictly follow CIDB requirements to facilitate seamless and transparent processes within the construction sector, thereby promoting accountability and integrity in all business dealings.
INPWD Clause 74.0 Waiver any party's inability to enforce any provision of this contract at any time will not be interpreted as a waiver of that party's right to enforce the breach of that or any other provision in this contract, nor will it be interpreted as a waiver of any subsequent, succeeding, or continuing breach of that or any other provision of this contract. In PAM Clause 3.7, Architect's Acceptance of Program, the acceptance by the architect of the works program shall not relieve the contractor of his obligations, duties, or responsibilities under the contract. The works program may be used by the architect to monitor progress, and the architect is entitled to rely on the works program as a basis for the assessment of extension of time and affect the delay and/or disturbances to the progress of the works. In SID Clause 51.2, Declaration Against Waiver, the condonation by the employer or the superintending officer of any breach or breaches by the contractor or his subcontractor of any of the stipulations and conditions contained in the contract shall in no way prejudice or affect or be construed as a waiver of the employer's rights, powers, and remedies under the contract in respect of any other breach or breaches of the contract.
In PWD, contract government shall be law Malaysia, and parties submit irrevocably in courts. Meanwhile, for PAM submit in court for jurisdiction. For CIDB, the law governing shall be law of Malaysia. For PWD, PAM and CIDB, the law shall be law of Malaysia.
INPWD Clause 76.0, Successors bound. This contract shall be binding upon the respective successors in title of the parties. In PAM, Clause 37.4, Power of Arbitrator 37.46 to direct such measurements and/or valuations as may in his opinion. In CIDB, Clause 7.3, Contractor's responsibility for subcontractors. Unless the contract otherwise provides, the contractor shall make good any damage, loss, or injuries suffered by the employer by reason of any breach of contract, repudiation, default, or failure on the part of his subcontractors or suppliers, whether nominated or privately engaged by the contractor. In PWD Clause 77.0, Epidemics and medical attendance, the contractor shall maintain the site in clean and sanitary condition and shall comply with all requirements of the government, health and sanitary authorities. The contractor will adhere to and carry out all rules, directives, and specifications issued by the government or the local health or medical authorities. In PAM Clause 6.3, Inspection and testing, the contractor shall provide samples of materials and goods for testing before incorporation into the works. The architect may issue an all requiring the contractor to open up for inspection any work covered up or to arrange for or carry out any test on any materials and goods already incorporated in the work or of any executed work. In CIDB Clause 11.1, Compliance with Environmental Quality Act 1974. The contractor shall give due consideration to the preservation and social implications of water and air quality, soil, flora, and fauna of any within the site during the execution of the works.
In PWD, Clause 79.0, General Duties and Performance Standard. Contractor performs works according to government and follow guidelines from time to time from government. In PAM, contractor follow architect instruction to carry out works in contract document. Meanwhile, in CIDB, contractor execute works as per SNO satisfaction.
In PWD Clause 80.0, Restriction and Procedure on Use of Imported Materials and Goods. The contractor shall use local goods, materials as listed in the Senarai Bahan Barangan Buatan Tempatan, issued by IKRM Cost Services SDN, BHD, and or issued by Serum Cost Services SDN. Contractor fails to comply with this requirement, the government may reject the goods, materials, local products and materials not specifically mentioned above may be accepted provided that Serum. In PAM Clause 6.1, Standards of Works, Materials, Goods and Workmanship, all works, materials, goods and Workmanship shall be of the respective quality and standards described in the contract documents and required by the architect in accordance with the provisions of the contract. In said clause B to condition precedent, the invoices and receipts of payment for such equipment, materials, or goods are submitted with the statement of work done, equipment, materials, or goods are in Malaysia and have been and are either set apart at the premises where they have been manufactured or assembled, or are suitably stored and in any case visibly marked or identified.